Hi everyone, my name is Raymond, and today I will be discussing how to encourage language development from birth to 1 year. So to start out, let's define a few things. There is a difference between speech and language, and it's important to understand the difference. Speech is the sounds we use to make up words, while language is the words we say and how we use them. We will use this to touch on some receptive and expressive communication milestones in the birth to 1 year range. Understanding some of these milestones can help parents know what to look for and what is appropriate for their child's age. It is important to note that some children may meet milestones earlier or later than others. Neither means something is wrong. All children develop differently, and some more fast or slow than others. First, let's talk about how it begins, from the birth to 3-month range. Some receptive communication milestones that a child in this age range should develop is recognizing familiar faces and some objects like their favorite toy or their bottle, and being aware of sounds and stimuli. This could include turning towards a loud sound or their mom talking. An expressive milestone that children in this age range will develop is cooing. This consists of prolonged sounds like ooh or ah. Next, let's talk about how communication milestones change over time. At the 4 to 6 month range, a child should be able to laugh, imitate a sound made by their parent, respond to their name being called, and vocalize longer sounds like ah, goo, or da. At the 7 to 9 month range, a child should be able to begin conversational turn-taking, babble longer, more repetitive sounds like mama, mama, or da, 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 that mimic syllable structure. They will also have clearer and more effective vocalizations during this time. At the 10 to 12 month range, a child should be able to respond to simple phrases or requests like look at daddy, say 1 to 2 words like mama or dada, repeat intonation changes. These can convey feelings like happiness or frustration. Something to keep in mind at this age is that though expressively they only have 1 to 2 words they say, they can understand as much as 20 words receptively. One study that was done by Ramirez in 2019 selected 79 families from the University of Washington subjects pool. They were all chosen based on having children who were born full term and within 2 weeks of their due date, an average birth weight, no complications at birth, and lived in households where the primary language is English. The study began when the children were 6 months old and prolonged until they were 18 months old. This measured whether parents using an intervention would increase infant turn-taking and vocalizations. This intervention was called infant-directed speech. Infant-directed speech is usually characterized by using simple sentences, varying prosody, and slower rate. The results from the study showed that using infant-directed speech, the children's conversational turn-taking and vocalizations increased from the control group who used no interventions. So from this graph from the study, in the red is the group that used the intervention, and the blue is the group that did not use the intervention. Another study was done by Donnellan in 2019, who used 134 infants all around 11 months old. They videotaped each child in their home to see if they were attempting to use intentional communication even before they could talk. They found that infants were using gestures and vocalizations and often looking towards their caregivers during this for a response. This was found to predict later language abilities, with another part of the study being done at 19 months old. Here is a graph from that study showing the results. In red, you see the observed, and in blue, you see the expected. And on the left is infant-directed speech being used alone, and on the right is infant-directed speech being used in combination with gestures. And you can see that on the right, there were more more caregiver gaze with the combination. Overall, from these two research studies, we learned that it is important to use strategies like infant-directed speech and gestures to respond to your infant's gestures and vocalizations because it may benefit their language later. Infants are always watching and modeling what their caregivers do, and modeling things like conversational turn-taking is very important. Even if your infant is not responding verbally yet, they can still practice conversational turn-taking with gestures and vocalizations. It is believed that infants' behaviors such as gestures and vocalizations are predictive of language use later in life. They are showing intentional communication which develops into language. Thank you for listening to this presentation, and I hope you learned something more about encouraging language development in younger children. Thank you.